Welcome back to All Day Live. Earlier this year, Sequest in the Roseville Mall shut down. There were more than 1,000 animals that needed new homes. Most of them went to the Minnesota Zoo, the Como Zoo, and then the Great Lakes Aquarium. About 200 of them, though, were rescued by the Lake Superior Zoo in Duluth. And today we just wanted to check in. We wanted to see how everybody's doing. So joining me now is Lizzy Larson, Director of Animal Management at the Lake Superior Zoo. Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us on today and talk about Quest kiddos.
Yeah, so let's start with, for those who don't know, what kinds of animals did you guys rescue?
So there were many different types of animals that needed to be rescued from the Sequest facilities. So there was lots of different types of fish, reptiles, mammals, birds, basically any type of animal, they had something of it. And so thankfully we were able to kind of work with, the Minnesota Zoo, the Como Zoo, Great Lakes Aquarium, and Sea Life down in the Mall of America, and kind of figure out, where we could bring all of those animals, to make sure that they all had the proper care. So we took in about 200 of them, and most of the ones that we brought in were actually birds. So a lot of parrots, a lot of budgies, but we also took in a few animals that needed care, like a reticulated python, our very, very exciting now, our Danny capybara, that's his name. He is the cappy that has been from down there and now is up with us and is having a great time with our red kangaroo.
Yeah, let's talk about the capybara for a second, because I was reading, so the conditions were not great. So investigations did find that Sequest and Roseville did not do enough to prevent and treat injured animals. So I was going to ask you kind of about the range of conditions that they showed up in. Tell us about the capybara first, and then any others that you want to highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was kind of our first thought, was like when we were bringing in all these animals, we knew that they weren't going to be necessarily in the best shape. So for Danny, our capybara especially, our biggest thing with him was wanting to see how much muscle mass he had, because he was kept in a very, very small enclosure. And these guys would normally need quite a large enclosure to be able to kind of run around, forage, do all the things that they're supposed to be able to do. One of the things that the Association of Zoos and Aquariums has as a requirement for taking care of capybaras is that they always need to have a pool available to them, because they like to swim. They're big water animals. And so he did not have any kind of pool or anything to swim in. And so he was not able to build up those muscles that he would normally have if he was going to be able to do those kinds of activities. So thankfully we have introduced him to pools. He's not a huge fan of them yet, honestly. He's like, I don't know exactly what this is, but it's really interesting. And so he's been kind of moving around the habitats, getting a lot more activity, and really being able to explore and do those natural behaviors he's supposed to be able to do.
Yeah, so seeing sunlight, seeing grass for the first time. So living really good now. I heard even maybe waiting for a female friend. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So these guys would be social, so they would be with another capybara out in the wild. And so we are waiting to get a female eventually for him, but we want to make some habitat modifications first so that we can make sure that we are exactly ready for him and however many buddies he wants to be able to have. But it was basically, I think every zookeeper here cried when he went outside for the very first time, because he just went out there and he laid down in the grass. And I mean, if you could picture a happy animal, that was pure happiness right there.
My goodness. Wow. Incredible. You mentioned a lot of birds, parakeets, I understand, and this is your wheelhouse. You're the bird person. So I heard something about maybe a parrot being used to like rehab, or what's the connection there?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do, part of the, in the zoo world, is I help manage the regional collection plan and also the taxon advisory group for parrots just in general. So in all zoos and aquariums in the U.S. And so being able to be a part of that has kind of given me a little bit more of a specialty in parrots and, birds just in general. And so when there were these parrots that definitely needed to have, specialized care and be taken in, we were definitely there and ready to be able to do that. So we took in 172 budgies, which were part of an open aviary that they were having people come in and feed them and that kind of thing. With those guys, we had to do a lot of work with them to treat them and care for them to make sure that they didn't have any diseases that could be passed from, humans to the birds, and then from the birds to humans or to other animals throughout the facility. And thankfully, we were able to get them all completely healthy, and now we we have shipped them off to various different zoos across the country. And so we only have a few left that we are housing here that are going to be going on to their forever homes as well. But we also have quite a few parrots that we brought in from them that we are building an aviary for, along with the new exhibit for the capybara, Danny, who is, again, like I said, having a fabulous time out in the grass, but we want to build him a better pool. So.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And, you know, as you mentioned, they came to you sort of, like, it feels like overworked, and I mean, it's documented, overworked, underfed. So what does the future look like now for them? I mean, will there be interactions with some of the visitors at the Lake Superior Zoo? How are you guys going to manage all of that?
Yeah, so one of the things that we, really take into consideration with all of our animals is choice and control, because we always want to make sure that the animal has a choice of involving themselves in anything that the public does. So, with Sequest, it was kind of a, you pay, a certain amount of money and you are going to go and interact with those animals. And those animals didn't have a choice in it. They just had to be there. They were pet if they wanted to be. If they didn't want to be pet, they were still pet anyway. And these guys, what we do is we make sure that if the animal is involved in an experience with, a guest, it's because the animal's choosing to be involved in that experience and they want to be with that guest. So we were thinking about doing encounters with the capybara. We have done a few just with, private people who we know. And so far, Danny has absolutely loved them. So he's been coming running up for his food and everything. But we are hoping that in the future, we can have more experiences like that, like we do with some of our other animals, like our red panda. So stay tuned. Hopefully in the near future, we will be doing that. But we are right now just working very diligently on making him the best habitat that he could possibly have.
All right, Lizzy, thanks so much for your time today and for the update. I know there were a lot of people who were very curious about what would happen to them and very concerned, after hearing about some of the ways that they showed up to you. So thanks for that. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. We're going to take care of them.
Okay. Thanks for your time today.